Hello everyone, I'm Flav from the Blockchain Game Alliance. Super happy to see everyone here. And just a few words. Obviously, the objective of the panel is to explain blockchain gaming, but why specifically we are here in LATAM, why it makes sense to talk about blockchain gaming in LATAM specifically. So I'm very happy to be with our three speakers and also members, because we are a non-profit organization, which is Blockchain Game Alliance, with 350 companies across the globe. And our goal is to promote blockchain within the gaming industry, but in a way where we actually help with each other. We make sure that everyone can identify everyone in the BGA and seek any business opportunities they could do. But also, and most of all, education. It's a very new ecosystem. We know that still now. And we need to educate ourselves about what you could do with blockchain in the gaming sector. So without any further ado, I would love our three speakers to introduce themselves, starting with you, Mariano.
Thanks, Flav. Thanks, everyone, for being here. I'm Mariano Rubinstein, co-founder and CEO of Ciudad Gaming. We started as a gaming guild, and now we are a full Web3 ecosystem. We work in this industry since 2021. And we are very anxious about blockchain gaming in LATAM. We think that there is many opportunities in this market, specifically for traditional gaming studios. So we are going to talk about it.
Thank you all. My name is Martin Espineto. I'm the CEO and founder of First Widow Games. It's a gaming developer company I founded 2011, so like 12 years ago. And 3 years ago, I also founded Gameolution, which is a blockchain incubator for gaming companies. We are helping companies, let's say traditional gaming companies, to take advantage of the blockchain opportunity. Some of them, great companies, are coming from LATAM, some of them for the rest of the world, but definitely there is a big chance here in this region. So happy to be here and share our thoughts.
Hello, everyone. My name is Luis Correa. I'm the CEO and game director of Ovitus Games. We're the only commercial game studio in the Dominican Republic. We're here in Argentina, integrating ourselves with your very cool and vibrant ecosystem. And we are a game studio with the mission of putting players at the center of their favorite fantasies. And we've identified Web3 as a great tool to do that. So happy to be here, and thank you all for coming.
Thanks, guys. I think you can attest that all the speakers we have come from Latin America, two from Argentina, and the idea is to be inspired by what they do, why they're doing it, and just to have a proof that this ecosystem is vibrant all across the globe, but also specifically in Latin America. So it's going to be interesting to learn from what you experience and what you went through, because let's face it, it's a very difficult ecosystem, but also full of opportunities, and we're going to talk about that. So first question will be, what was your aha moment? You know, that moment you say, okay, I want to be in the blockchain, I want to build a business in the blockchain Web3 ecosystem. I believe in the technology, but most of all, maybe I believe in the philosophical aspect of Web3. So what was your aha moment? I don't know, asking Mariano if you want to start.
Okay. We started in 2021 giving Axie Infinity scholarships. At that moment, Axie Infinity was practically the only Web3 game in which you can buy assets and then make a profit by playing. And most of the people came to us just for the money, just for help. But at some point we started to see that many people came to us with their own assets. So they already bought their Axies, and they also wanted to play with us and split the earnings with the community. So we started to think and ask them, why are you willing to split your earnings with us? And the answer was the breaking point, the aha moment for us. They wanted to be part of something. They want to feel this sense of belonging, to play in a community and not play alone. So we understand that most people use games as a social network too. It's not just about making money. It's not just about playing and winning. It's being part of something. So if that was there at that point, it should be quite higher in the future.
I love that. It's this sense of belonging relies on the fact of owning something. So ownership is very strong as well as something. Martin, what do you think?
So about the aha moment, right?
Whoa, the aha, it's up to you.
Okay. And I can be super honest as well. Yeah, okay. So to be fully honest with you, we spent more than 10 years doing video games. It's not easy. It's not easy at all. I mean, if any of you are doing video games right now, you know that trying to live up to that and monetizing the game and having retention of the game and everything is super difficult. And when everything exploded with blockchain, with the exception of a few cases like Axie Infinity, the rest of the games were actually pretty shitty, if you pardon my French. And we thought, there must be an opportunity here because, I mean, these guys are making a ton of money. The games are not good. They're not gaming developers behind those games, are really blockchain developers trying to do video games. So we thought, I mean, if we do the right thing with the right knowledge, there should be a great opportunity here. And actually was. So that's the moment that we decided there is an opportunity here. I mean, we should definitely do something. And we should implement blockchain in a way that adds value to the player. Okay, not the financial speculation around the token, around the NFT, just the player. And for us, blockchain continues to be just a means to an end. It's just another tool. And that's the way that we started. And definitely it was that reason.
I love it. What about you, Luis?
So my aha moment is linked to a moment of my childhood, and it comes from playing Pokemon Red for the first time. And it's that moment of going through the Indigo Plateau and like going through the league and getting those first 6 Pokemon into the Hall of Fame. Those first 6 Pokemon meant so much to me. So much to me. And they didn't have the best stats. They were not max level. They were not shiny. But they were my Pokemon that I went on my adventures with. And so that imprinted a value on them that for me stays to this day. I no longer have those Pokemon. I no longer have those bytes that are a part of my childhood. Those bytes in a cartridge are part of my childhood, and I no longer have them. Fast forward, after 15 years of entrepreneurship career, I launched an L1 blockchain in a totally unrelated area. Well, not totally unrelated, but okay. And now that I'm building Web3 games with Obitus Games, the aha moment comes from our mission statement. We want to put players at the center of their favorite fantasies. And that means a layer of social immersion. What does that mean? That means that players want to feel, as both Mariana and Martin alluded to, they want to feel like they belong to something. They want to feel like, even if they're going through a single player experience, if there are 10,000 players going through the same single player experience, and I own something that is a record that me and 10,000 other players went through this experience at let's say the same time or slightly different times, that makes me belong to that group of people. And so for me, I will give anything to get those bytes back, and I'm here to make sure that no one else has to lose those bytes ever again.
Yeah, so trying to escape a little bit the blockchain gaming, focusing on the whole blockchain gaming aspect, but try to bring the subject into LATAM specifically. I will try to bring a very rough picture about what's happening in the world, which is the USA want to be the first to promote blockchain/crypto to anyone, although they are facing a lot of regulation issues. Europe, they're trying, so slow, Europe as usual. Asia, so many traffic players get excited about the games with blockchain, and you see a lot of innovation. Where do you see LATAM what kind of role do you see LATAM playing in this ecosystem, which is Web3? What kind of specificities you think LATAM will bring to the ecosystem? If you want to start, Mariano.
Yeah, sure. I think we have a combination of different factors that make LATAM very important in the blockchain gaming industry. First, we have a very young population. Young people is more likely to play every time, and they play more time every day. This is not only LATAM, it's happening all across the globe. But there is another factor, is the crypto adoption. 5 out of 10 countries with the most cryptocurrency adoption are in LATAM. The first one and second one are Argentina and Brazil. And that's not by chance. We are used to deal with instabilities, economic crisis, and whatever. So we are trying to keep our money safe for generations. So crypto gives us these options. So if you combine that there is a huge player base with younger people and the crypto adoption, that makes a huge potential fan base for blockchain gaming.
Do you agree, Martin? Well, how do you feel?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, definitely. I mean, you cannot escape the regulation and the economical crisis, turmoils that we are living through LATAM. In the case of Argentina, it's very particular because we used to have one of the highest inflation in the world. So I believe that in Latin America, one of the best factors, as Mariano was mentioning, is that people is eager to try to find this way to secure the value. Okay, so when you explain the benefit of the blockchain, it's very easy to get, a huge adoption. When you go to a more mature market, it's like, why? Why should I do that? I already have my credit card, my bank account is totally fine. There's no inflation. Why should I do that? So I believe that definitely is a big opportunity, and we see that. So many blockchain gaming coming from LATAM. We see so many wallets, for instance, even exchanges that were created here in LATAM. So yeah, definitely it's a mix between local talent and the need to try new technologies to try to overcome financial instability that we have.
Okay, yeah, makes sense. And it's specifically highlighting Europe as an example. You were saying about wallet and everything. And I guess in Europe, coming from France, it's also quite the opposite. They don't see much the value of it because it seems like it's not a solution for them right now, which is actually if they could think a little bit more. So I totally agree with you on that. And what would be your takeaway, Luis, for that? What do you think?
So I see in LATAM a population that is also trying to find the new meaning of cultural relevance, right? Like to a certain degree through sports, through art. Several generations have used different mediums to create even whole movements, right? And export those movements to the world. But even then, the percentage of people that manage these feats are like, top 0.1%. And so what I think it's happening in LATAM is that the internet puts all of us into a global village. And now you see a population that has a very unique idiosyncrasy where it's like highly competitive, young, right? And it's eager to make its mark. And what that means is that they're going to find new and creative ways to stay culturally relevant and to create things or participate in things with a new approach that the world has not seen. And that is going to generate value in and of itself.
No, and keeping you talking as well, like you built a business already in the blockchain space, not specifically gaming, but you built some. You are based in Republico Dominica. Why did you choose to actually base the company there, where you could actually have the opportunity to, I don't know, go to the US and just stay put and go nearby a big and richful ecosystem of builders in the space?
So that's a funny one. So with the years as an entrepreneur, I've adopted what I call the Viking mentality. I go out of the island to raid, and I bring gold back to the island. And so the idea is that, the internet makes it so that I had information available that was only available if I had moved to the central hubs in the world. And so from the comfort of my very hot bedroom, I was able to gain knowledge that I had to gain by moving before. And so what that allowed me to do was gain perspective that allowed me to build these businesses. And then with the rise of online businesses and technology, it allowed me to create hybrid teams. For example, one of my previous companies, when it was at its biggest, we were 80 people in the 5 continents, right? And I was managing all of that from Dominican Republic, right? And so what ends up happening there is that, in bringing it back to blockchain gaming and LATAM, the biggest expert of the Dominican Republic, one of the biggest experts, is baseball players. Everyone who likes baseball has heard of names like Sammy Sosa, Vladimir Guerrero. They are Dominican baseball players. So I feel like something that things like Web3 gaming is going to allow in LATAM specifically is that now Web3 gaming is going to allow the rails that these baseball players have to become pro players that, for example, an esport player doesn't have in LATAM, right? Or that they have, but it's much more difficult, much less mainstream. And I feel like Web3 gaming is going to allow demonetization to a certain degree of the skill of competitive gaming. And that is going to create an aspirational factor to gaming in LATAM that it's going to be very endemic to us. And that is going to inspire probably generations to come.
Yeah, we see a lot blockchain as a way to democratize a lot competitiveness into a diversity of players into one specific community, local community, but it could be a country, it could be a lot of things, and we see a lot of values. They're all watching the streamers they love, but they feel not so much involved in the competitive aspect of actually being able to win something from the fact that they are good at playing the game as well. And I agree with you that blockchain is actually giving the opportunity to a large ecosystem, to any players in the world, to actually prove their ability to compete, their ability to win something from the experience they had, but with a competitive aspect, for sure. And if we keep it to the players, Mariano, you built the large ecosystem of players in South America. And obviously you're dealing with a lot of companies outside Latin America. What are they looking for? What kind of discussion you have? What kind of conversation they want to have with you when they see your impact in Latam?
The players, as I told you before, they want to play with a community. They want to be part of something. They want to be taught. They want to be coached. They want to...
More like, okay, you're dealing with a lot of games coming from across the globe. Okay. And they see a relationship with you that are aware to acquire more users, specifically in Latam, okay, and specific users because they are well into...
Yeah, regarding user acquisition for Web3 games, is a completely different task than traditional games. So far, most of the Web3 gamers are looking for some profits, some economical benefit, airdrops, whitelist, tokens, NFTs. So that's a very different way to do it. We do it like a custom made with streamers, with specific tournaments. We try to understand what the game is looking for and not only acquiring users, but also helping in retention. Retention is one of the great issues.
Okay, got it. Martin, to you, I guess there might be two questions in that. I would love to have your opinion into But you see, you've been in the ecosystem for quite some time. You see the opportunity of blockchain first with your experience doing the Axie Infinity craziness, motivated by the, monetary aspects. How do you see the blockchain gaming landscape right now going to? What kind of direction are we going to in terms of the gaming experience we are delivering right now?
Do you mean in LATAM, right? Specifically
Anywhere.
LATAM?
Anywhere.
Anywhere. Okay. One of the aspects that I have to steal this from Mariano, because I heard that in another talk, and I really like it. What you mentioned, the democratization of the esports. And I believe that we are going to see that even more. A lot of people, young people that is, practicing one game that they really play very well, and perhaps it's not that well to go to the World Cup, okay, and being sponsored by Intel, but it's good enough in order to make a living. So I think that we are going to see that a lot. And then we are going to see a lot of games that are using blockchain, but trying to escape the financial speculation of the token. Using blockchain in a way that is going to add value, but not financially, trying to avoid those type of users that is not bad, okay, but it's a completely different type of user. That user that is going to play the game because they love that, and at the end of the day, there's not going to be any token involved, but they will have these assets as an NFT, and they will say, okay, I already play a game, what can I do with that? And they can sell that later. I remember GameStop. I used to buy games at GameStop, and why I did that and not online is because I did have the possibility to buy that CD and then, offer that later for a discount. And I believe blockchain is a way to do that digitally. And I believe that we are going to see that even more once the thing about political, stability and regulation are going to set up and say, okay, you can have an NFT and not going to jail, okay, in the US. That will eventually happen, and that definitely will drive adoption.
One other thing I want you to touch on is creator economy, because with video games, you're building kind of, I wouldn't say a metaverse, but kind of a big ecosystem with AI, but you could talk about that as well. But also the opportunity you're offering and you will offer to any creators, any members of a specific community to actually suggest specific items based on Argentina culture maybe. So how do you think blockchain could actually involve in a better way community of creators and their own community?
Yeah, definitely. That is very interesting. It's another, I would say, the biggest benefit for blockchain. If you consider the App Store, Google Play, let's say PlayStation, the Xbox, are what we call these, okay, they're really good, but they're close. So if you're a creator and you want to create something in that game, it would be impossible for you to monetize that. Okay, so we see, for instance, Epic doing Fortnite is saying, okay, I'm going to create a real version for Fortnite so anyone can build something and then monetize that content. And that is amazing. And you can see the result in Fortnite, okay? But we are still far away from those companies, open all the system. Blockchain is actually solving that because thanks to the technology, and not the financial speculation, just the technology, any creator can actually create something and offer that directly to the user without any type of middleman. That is beautiful. So if you have that, you have creators, you have a really good experience, you have a developer that is creating this environment for players and creators to meet, you can create a circular economy with everyone adding value, okay? And not just a big corporation saying, no, I'm going to be the only one that is going to monetize this, okay? And I love that, okay? That is what we're building. Thank you for the opportunity for Live Meta. Live Meta is
my job.
Thank you. Thank you. Live Meta is basically an AI narrative experience that we are building together with AI. So the idea that people can actually create their own stories, their own avatars, and everything is, powered by AI, so you can be part of the story, okay? It's super hard to explain, okay? But believe me, that is good. And we are creating that as well.
That's cool. Thanks. How do you want to involve the community? How do you see that for Arbitrus Game in terms of, I know that you got a lot of feedback already from the community. How do you want to leverage that for your game?
Yeah, so We're building Overnights, an online car battler where you go through a series of duels in a tower in order to achieve a cube of endless knowledge through in the lore of the game. And so ours is we're aiming to become an esport. And the way we see this happening is that there's a factor to card games that is called theory crafting. And it's basically, I'm at my job and I'm like, yes, I'm like doing my job or doing some task. But in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, if I get this card into my deck, maybe I'll be able to beat this guy with this other strategy. That's called theory crafting. And that creates so much content and it creates information networks that are super interesting. For example, people who play card games, they create Discord servers. They're going to go into a tournament just to practice, just to analyze the current state of the game and things like that. And so I feel like with our game and with the factor of us using digital assets for the game, that information network is not going to be only theoretical. Like, oh, if I had this, it's going to become real. Because it's going to be like, oh, I can go into the marketplace and I can buy this or I can get this lent from this other person. No other digital card game in that is not using blockchain right now has a viable business model that allows those features. And so the way we see it is that these features allow the game studios to buy sustainable business model for practices that are bannable. If you go and sell your account in another game, you're banned. If you try to buy the currency for the game through a third-party website, you're banned. And so blockchain allows all these features that roughly estimate are making this third-party economy hundreds of millions of dollars that the games are not monetizing. And so with blockchain, I feel like what ends up happening is instead of trying to beat them, join them. And make that into a force that powers the relationships that are established in your communities.
Great. One warning for you three. You may not like this question, but I feel like we are with family, so I'm going to ask it. Anyway, one introduction of that will be, we're super happy to be at EVA because we are talking about a gaming convention. And it's our role, the BGN, for you to explain why blockchain matters. We see a lot of misconception in the ecosystem saying that blockchain is a scam, it's black markets, it's shitty games, could be a part of truth. Specifically 2 or 3 years ago, we talked about that. And we are here to have a proper conversation with anyone about maybe you should actually listen to us because something is happening, we're building, they're building. And you might see the value of at least being intrigued by the technology and try to learn more. Question will be, one of the misconceptions we see is definitely why me as a game, an entrepreneur in the gaming industry, why would I need to go into blockchain gaming where you don't have any players yet? When we don't have the million of players for any kind of other games you see in the market. Why should I tackle players you don't see so much now? This is one of the misconceptions we're seeing. Mariano, I don't know if you have.
Yeah, in fact, I like the question because there is an elephant in the room, so let's talk about it. What I believe is that blockchain technology is technology. So if there is a technology available for building a game, you should take it. For a few years, we tried to force that the fact that this game is built on blockchain, and nobody cares how you build a game. People want to play a fun game and make their time valuable. So you must be able to use this technology the best way possible. You can build a game using blockchain without having NFTs for sale and without having tokens, but the technology is there and you can use it. So what I believe is that there is also shitty games without blockchain technology, and there will be also shitty games on any technology. So if you are a developer, take advantage of the technology. It will bring potential new players. It will bring potential new sources of fundraising. It will bring a lot of possibilities without having to do anything you don't want to do. It's just the technology.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Blockchain is just a technology. It's a means to an end. It can be used for good and bad. We have seen that. If you're a great developer and you just want to develop an amazing experience, you can do it even greater for blockchain. That will be my take. Okay, you can create a great game, but at the end of the day, people is not going to spend the whole life playing the game. They're going to one day say, okay, I'm done. I'm going to pass to another game, and what else? Okay, what can you do with that? Okay, can you sell your assets to another player? Can you lend your assets to another player? You can do that with blockchain. And the fact that we are not doing that for every game is because we have bigger companies saying, no, I don't want that. I don't want that to happen. But the technology is there. So my take will be for any real gaming developer to take advantage of living this stage that basically is not yet massive. And you want to be one of the first trying this technology. It's going to be there in the next upcoming years.
So a few of these takes for me are that gamers are already exhibiting Web3 behaviors, right? Like if you go to EVE Online, players maximize their time to try to earn enough RSAK, which is the in-game premium currency, to buy the premium package every month. Like they are already exhibiting these behaviors, right? And then you also have conversations happening where storefronts are being obligated to tell you that when you buy a digital game, the game is not even yours. Like not even the assets in the game are yours. Now the game itself that you're playing is not yours. So I think that blockchain is a technology that allows the developer to put more in the hands of the players instead of less. And I feel like, for me, that's the biggest misconception that we are facing right now. People have the misconception that blockchain technology gives you less, and that makes it a scam. But in the reality, blockchain technology gives you more, because not only do you have, yes, the game can go offline one day, but you have digital assets and a community that can pick up those digital assets and maybe even pick up where the developer left off. And there's nothing that the developer or anyone can do about that. Like these digital assets are yours. And so to a certain degree, there's a lot that needs to be figured out to get us to a place where that's a reality that's easily implementable, where we can go past this stigma that the industry has right now. But the reality is that today, if I'm a player in popular online games and I go into a shady website and I put my PayPal, I could get hacked. Like that's the reality today. So which one is big? Which one is more of a scam? Somewhere where my transaction goes secure and I can like trace it and see it and do the entire thing and denounce the developer and take down a company with a tweet, or a shady website that I don't know who anyone is, and there's not gonna be any consequence. So in the end, I feel like the biggest misconception is that blockchains allow developers who want to give more to the players the opportunity to do so.
Yeah, please. I can add something. I think that until a few months ago, for any game developer, building in blockchain was a limitation. But what we have seen the past weeks with a specific game is that limitations are not longer exist. There is a game called Off the Grid, which is on Epic, and which is also playable on PlayStation, Xbox, consoles, and they are using payment platforms like Sola, which are the same as the traditional games. So if you think like blockchain is a limitation, you are completely wrong. Blockchain is a technology that brings many possibilities and no longer cuts the possibilities of the traditional distribution models.
Great finish. Thank you, guys. And we have, just for you to know that we have a booth downstairs, and we had those guys today. We're going to have them as well tomorrow. If you have any questions, to ask them. And we have a side events organized with the Sandbox, but also Ciudad Gaming happening tomorrow. So just come to us if you want to be a part of the side events tomorrow. We'll be happy to see you there. And thanks again, guy. It was a pleasure.